Om Namah Shivaya, friends. Today we are talking about the transit of Saturn in Uttarabhadra nakshatra, starting from 20th of January to 16th of May. Now, Uttarabhadra Saturn was there last year also. Then it retrograded back to Purva Bhadrapada. This whole year, a lot of the time, and even next year also, 2027 also, it will transit Uttar and it will be 365 days total what I counted. So it's quite a time that Saturn is transiting this nakshatra, which is its own nakshatra after Pushya and Anuradha. Now, those who have been listening to my videos, they know that I like these three nakshatras. Not that they are less cruel, or I mean, not cruel, not that they do not give us lessons, karmic lessons, they do give us that. But somehow, the essence of these three nakshatras come out spiritually in a great way. And that is why when I realized this, as my learning continued with astrology still, and I'm constantly learning and I'm understanding this nakshatra, it is very mesmerizing to me. The ocean serpent Ahir Bhudanya, the wise old man, this nakshatra is given the name of wise old man. And really, it, if you have prominent planets especially, this really, that planet will always, the significance of that planet will give you the vision, but after 36, not before that, of your age. That is Saturn's maturity age, right? So this is what I have felt about this nakshatra. Though it is karmic, it is sometimes painstaking, difficult, but not like Purva Bhadrapada. No, nothing compared to the madness of Purva Bhadrapada. It's erratic. So this nakshatra is not to that level, definitely. But yes, it has its own lessons to be learned. And Saturn being in this nakshatra now for a very long time, it will go to Revati from 15th May to 10th of October this year. But that will be just a short stint into Devati, because Revati will retrograde over there. So let's not talk that much about, or the feelings of Revati will not be very prominent this year. It will be next year. So this is a very, actually I had made a video about Uttar Bhadrapada, but again I thought let's see the results from the moon nakshatra now. Because when we are talking about a particular nakshatra, we have to see whether the transit of that nakshatra, what is the effect from your moon nakshatra. And that is very important, whether it's your Janma nakshatra, whether it's your Sampat nakshatra, it is your Vipat nakshatra, Shema, Pratyaksh, Maitra, Devankula, or what. So that we have to see, because even I'll tell in the predictions that even a little bit of good transit also can release difficult patterns from your life with this kind of a transit of Saturn in Uttar Bhadrapada. Very, very prominent transit. The more said about it is less. These two nakshatras, Uttar Bhadrapada and Revati, they are a classic touch to the spirituality that should be the core of human existence. That is why this is called this nakshatra is, the symbol is also the last two legs of the cot. Now, whether you are sleeping or whether it is the last bye to the world, both is in the state of, sometimes you're not in the state of acceleration, right? You are in the inertia of rest. Now, sometimes rest is important, and Saturn does that very much, to give you the insight that what is happening. and why things are panning out in this way. But how much I say about it, it is said and done. Very few people in between 30 to 36, I have many of the people who is reaching out to me in that range. Very few will be able to really gauge the process. If you are above 40, it is easier to understand this nakshatra, what it wants to teach you, because after all, Saturn, if it is in a prominent position in your horoscope, if you are running a dasha pratyantar antardasha, it will make you lonely in this kind of a transit and put you into deep thoughts about certain processes which is needed. That's why the planet is behaving such in uttarabhadra. But believe me, I don't know whether you have noticed it or not. Purva Bhadrapada is a dance of it's a very rough dance. I will put it in that way. If you have understood, that is what happened when Saturn, Rahu was also there in Purva Bhadrapada. Both met, and it is a very rough dance, I feel. It is it's not tandav, it is pathetic. It shows the malefic nature. And this is another thing I have seen, just a little bit deviation from the topic. Jupiter nakshatras are not easy. Punarvasu was Sri Ram, our Lord Sri Ram's nakshatra. His life was not at all easy. His rising, Punarvasu rising. And then Vishaka, I have always seen Jupiterian nakshatra, because Jupiter is the Dev Guru and it should be really great nakshatras. Vishaka is not easy at all, and neither is Purva Bhadrapada. And that's why they have one last one is in the watery sign, and these three nakshatras of Jupiter are nowhere easy. If you have seen your life pattern, if you have prominent planets, then you'll understand that definitely. But Saturn nakshatras, if you can imbibe the nature, they do not show duality. Anuradha is pure devotion, and it is from where the Kundalini rises. The culmination is here. Revati is the final chapter, that is why it is so benevolent nakshatra. It's a beautiful nakshatra. Uttar Bhadrapada is equally beautiful. Yes, it gives a turmoil before, a little bit of turmoil, not like Purva Bhadrapada, but it always gives the benign factor also coming into. So this is what I'm expecting from this transit of Saturn, that it will give some good results also in this nakshatra. Finding goodness with Saturn without the hint of difficult times or dark days or melancholic things is like finding one grain from the stack of hay, right? It is like that. So Saturn is known for that. It's a planet of suffering, but if the suffering leads to a better thing, I think Uttar Bhadrapada is the transit of Saturn is here to do that. So what I'll do is that now I will one thing is that this has 4 padas, and the first pada starts with Leo Navansh. So the first pada goes to Leo Navansh, and it is like about it's quite energetic at that point of time. Saturn in Leo Navansh at that point of time, and it is very ambitious also. Second pada obviously goes to Virgo, which is very analytical, and any planet if you have over there will be very analytical and well planned and all these things in Navansh. Third pada goes to Libra, which is always striking a balance, and that is how Libra works. And last is Scorpio. This last pada of Uttar Bhadrapada nakshatra is very difficult. This is what I've seen. Either you go for knowing the full, or the unknown gives you a lot of fear, and that is what Scorpio is about. From Scorpio, either you go towards Sagittarius or you come back towards Libra. So Scorpio is the juncture point, and that's why I feel Jyeshtha Mula is the most rough Gandanta, because it is life changing and it's not easy. That's why this last pada, this needs to be taken care of when at that time, whenever Saturn is transiting, at that time the dates will be out. I can make a short also. So these are the 4 padas, and let's now see how you have to see from your moon nakshatra. So I will put it in this way, like Aries having Ashwini, Bharani and Kritika. So what kind of transits this nakshatra is having from your moon nakshatra? It's your good tara, I mean it's a good star, it's a mitra star, friendly, it is auspicious, it is vipat, it is badha, what? So I'll say that, and then I will try to little bit predict what it is showing in your horoscope for each moon sign. So this is not at all from the ascendant. That is a thing I wanted to say. So let's see how you fare with your moon nakshatra from to uttarabhadra. What is the happening over there? For the Aries ascendant, if you have Ashwini nakshatra, then it is your Mitra Tara. So this transit will be good for you. If you have Bharani nakshatra, then it is a Badha Tara, and over here Saturn will create some impediments definitely, and you have to be careful with this transit because already you are running a Sarasati. If you are Kritika nakshatra, then it is a Devankula, means very good actually. This it is a very good start for you. Now let's come to the prediction of Uttar Bhadrapada, as Saturn is your 10th lord and your 11th lord, and now you are in the first phase of your Sarasati. Obviously this nakshatra is not a very highly energetic nakshatra, but so the results, what I'm trying to say, the results in the 12th house, when your 10th and 11th lord has gone, there will be things like there will be assessment of your work area, there can be transfers, there can be loneliness due to transfers, due to going far away, and your friend circle can also diminish or dissolve. Now this is looking like a bad prediction, right? Now Sarasati, it is a process where it changes the platform which you have been going on till now. That is why Sarasati is painful. If you look why it is difficult, because it changes the order, and we do not want that as humans. We don't want change, but change is the only constant. So impediments will be there. There can be expenses, but how much you will what is the thing that you want to do the expenditure on, you can judge that. You can definitely do that, and especially when Jupiter will be exalted Jupiter will be aspecting this Saturn from June onwards. But understand, out of these 3 nakshatras, Bharani will face a difficult transit over here because it is the Badha nakshatra. Uttar Bhadrapada is Badha nakshatra for Bharani. So Bharani people especially have to be careful with the kind of expenses, with your health, with your mental well-being. If you're going to a different place, you have to stay by alone, all these things, and the process will not be very fast. It is a slow process. As I said before also, this nakshatra is not a very energetically fast nakshatra, right? It is towards the end of life where you are not in a hurry to go. So it can feel sluggish because Saturn is also a slow planet. All these things you have to take into consideration. The flow of money can also be sluggish, though for Ashwini and Kritika it can be good, but from the foreign lands. But expenses can also be equally high. So here Saturn can also teach you money management. That can be a very well thing that you may learn through this transit. So I do not feel that this transit will be all waste. No, it is a good nakshatra, and when such nakshatras, they do not destroy things. This is not a diabolical. No, its nature is not like. Its nature is like it can take away people from your life slowly, and you need to know that you have to release. It is a process of release, and later you can feel very light. Maybe you had been holding to the things for a long time. Again, if you were visiting foreign lands or foreign affairs and all these things, this can be a good time with, especially again Ashwini Kritika, as they are, the transit is good for them. That is because the the Maitra Tara. It is Maitra Tara and it is the Devankula Tara for Kritika. So for these two nakshatra, it will be good. Out of Sarasati also, because see, it will give you impediments, it will give you some lessons, but out of that, you will not totally feel frustrated. There will be something that you will take away from this transit. So I feel it is better in some way that Saturn is transiting own nakshatra, and some chapters that had been gone away, was not closed, may come back, because uttarabhadrapada is also that nakshatra which brings back thing from the past life or from the past. So you have to now close it, you have to put the final nail in the coffin. That can also happen. Maybe your profession totally goes for a overall, and Pisces is the sign of freedom. 12th house is freedom. When you go to other lands, you feel so free, right? You feel that you have come for some rich experiences. That can also very much happen with this nakshatra transit of Saturn. So Aries, I feel personally, though it is the 12th house, Saturn is not easy, because Saturn is not easy anywhere. But this will give you certain things to learn and certain good experiences also after a little bit of tough time and sluggishness. Here it is like sluggish and delay. It is not destructive in that way. That is the essence of Uttar Bhadrapada and Revati also later. And another thing is that Uttar Bhadrapada, you can do some, if you are engaged in some kind of a, because Aries people are helpful, Aries moon are pioneers, they are helpful. If you are engaged in some work where you are helping others in hospitals or elderly people, this is great time. You will be blessed, that much I can say. So take the use of this nakshatra. Let me know later how it is panning out with you, because these things are very interesting actually. So take care. Taurus. For Taurus, Kritika nakshatra, if you are in, it is Devankula nakshatra. The transit of Saturn in Uttar Bhadrapada will be good for you. If you are Rohini nakshatra, it is the Pratyak Tara. So that is also, that will not be too good, or it will be okay. And Mrigasira, it is a Maitra nakshatra. So that is also good. So now see here, already Taurus people, see, this is the main spread of Saturn in your 11th house. The 9th and the 10th lord going into the 11th house actually is great. Obviously the work pressure can be, you have to work with groups, you have to take your a group into account for that, and but you know what, here you can do some deep research also at this point of time, and you can learn also a lot of things, and overseas or something related to foreign connections, or from your friends, one kind of a desire that you have been working hard for long can get can come into culmination. That can very much happen, because this is the nakshatra of happening, the last the last thing, because the Kundalini rising happens in Anuradha, which is another Saturn nakshatra. The culmination happens over here. It is a good transit actually, even though for Rohini it's a Pratyak Tara, but still the transit is not bad. The transit is, maybe for Rohini nakshatra it can give a little bit of mixed result, but I feel for Kritika nakshatra and for Mrigashira nakshatra, these two nakshatra will definitely benefit from here, and it is a wealthy nakshatra also. And you know what, because 11th house is community, if you really work in a community, you can really get profits from this kind of a transit, I feel you can learn a lot of things, because the ninth lord in Uttar Bhadrapada, and the learning is not exactly bookish knowledge. Here you have to interact with people, and then you get the knowledge out of it. So you can work with groups, and from there you can gain very rich experiences for Taurus people, for all the three nakshatras. But here one thing can happen also, that the group, especially for Rohini, you may have to say goodbye for certain people. That can also very well happen. Your groups will have now specialized people with wiser knowledge. That is what you're looking for. And now this Uttar Bhadrapada, because see, Saturn is a very practical planet. Though it is in a watery sign, each Saturn's nakshatra is in watery sign, but it's the water is in the movement, right? The water never is stagnant, it's moving. So with your wise knowledge, you will be able to move yourself from the things that you do not desire of the 11th house. So and especially networking, especially those that do not have an eye for some empathy, for generous attitude towards the larger thing of society, you can, as a Taurus ascendant, you can definitely move away from that. So it's and monetarily it will be good. Uttar Bhadrapada is a good money giving nakshatra, like Revati also. So monetarily it will be good, but choose your friends wisely. And if any person new comes to your group, your liking or anything, be a little careful. It can be some karmic release also. That is what happens when Saturn comes into its own nakshatra, because each Saturn nakshatra carries past life stories and karmas. So you have to check in for that. Take good care, Taurus. For Gemini moon, now if you are having moon in Mrigashira, it is the Maitreya nakshatra. It's Mitra, like from this Uttar Bhadrapada. If you have an Adra, your moon, then it is a Vipattara. The transit will not be good for you. If you have moon in Punarvasu, it is Sampattara. Again, it is good. Now here you see for Gemini ascendants, this is your it is your 9th and 8th lord. So 9th lord, Parashar, BPHS or Laghu Parashari says that 9th lord is the best lord, right? So here the 9th lord, though 8th is a trick planet and Saturn is a malefic, it is coming into your 10th house. Now what lessons have you to learn? Because Uttar Bhadrapada, Saturn is lesson learning, right? And makes you wiser. That is the agenda. That is how Saturn works. That is what Saturn wants to make you realize and make you wiser, because this nakshatra is known as the wisest, wise old man. No doubt about that, because after that only one nakshatra is left. So you're nearing spirituality, right? Here you cannot. So what happens is that over here, especially for Adra nakshatra moon, if you are having a Mrigashira or Punarvasu, it will be a good transit and you will get benefiting results from this nakshatra in your profession. Due to sudden changes, because 8th lord, due to your higher knowledge, maybe upgrading skills or something you're showing in the workplace, Saturn needs very long time for the 10th house to upgrade itself. Anywhere Saturn goes, it's in no hurry. Saturn is a very slow planet. And telling that the transit of Saturn in the 10th house would be excellent, it is nowhere excellent unless the work is done. But problem is here little bit with the Adra nakshatra who is having moon in Adra. Here it is a Vipattara for you. So you have to be very pragmatic in your thinking. Now see, Saturn teaches, it's a judge. It teaches a lesson, it treats everybody in the same eye. But when the transit is a Vipattara transit from your moon Rashi, then what happens is that you may face situations which are very much against you. But being this nakshatra not like Purva Bhadrapada, you can take the lessons, you can be calmer in your work area, in your professional area, and you can, learn from it and then execute it. So that is the only caution. 10th Saturn is a very, very significant transit, and here if the dasha is a little giving, you will learn a lot, and when you come out of 10th Saturn, you will be like, oh my god, like there was so much of base study that I've done, and I've come out wiser. Again, that is what Uttar Bhadrapada wants you to do. Sometimes this nakshatra can leave you a little inactive also. It can happen. A job loss suddenly happens. You become inactive for a few months. Now, don't take it as bad. In those few months, because it's the ninth lord, you can upgrade your skills also. So, such kind of situations may happen. May. Though Jupiter position is also good for you, it is from the first, it will go to the second. So if you lose a job also, you will get also. But Saturn wants you to upgrade. It is a way of Saturn, and you come out wiser. It's a great transit for you, Gemini. Believe me. Cancer ascendants, if you are having moon in Punarvasu, it is a Sampat nakshatra and it is good transit. If you have moon in Pushya, then it is a Janma nakshatra and the transit is okayish, neither bad, neither very good. If you have moon in Aslesha, then it is a Paramamitra transit. So it's a good transit actually. So again over here, only the mid nakshatra is facing a little. Punarvasu is good and Aslesha is good. Pushya is the Janma nakshatra from Uttar Bhadrapada, and it is like its results are mixed, not very bad, neither very good, neither very bad, something like that. But see, over here Saturn is your Kendra Lord and the 8th Lord in the 9th house. Obviously it has something to do with your partner, your business and your in-laws, your insurance money, your joint finances, all these things. Now, one thing about Saturn is that when Saturn was in Purva Bhadrapada, still now, 20th January, this will start and Saturn will not go back to Purva Bhadrapada. Maybe it was a very devilish kind of a dance that you were facing. Now, should I say that this will be an angelic? No, it is not like that. Saturn never works like that. You have to understand whatever decisions you are taking with your partner, or if you're going for far off places, you're traveling, you're learning, your partner's involvement is there. And there is certain, because the 8th Lord is also Saturn and Rahu is sitting over there, some learnings will be very depth, will come from your within, the depth of your consciousness. 9th house and 5th house Saturn is not a great transit. Nowhere Saturn is great unless you have understood the essence of the planet. But 5th and 9th house Saturn pushes you for upliftment because it is the Trikon Bhav and 9th house is the strongest of the Trikon. Here Saturn is preparing you for the 10th house transit. So that's why Saturn has to give you this age-old wise knowledge, whether you get it through your marriage, whether you get it through partnership, all these things, partnership to the foreign lands, contemplating about it, don't jump into it. One very important thing about Uttar Bhadrapada is it brings out, every Saturn nakshatra does, brings past life karma. You will not know that karmic person will come into your life, whoever it is. It can be your, it can be in the form of your spouse, your partner, overseas someone you meet over there. And it can be a learning lesson. Now, everybody will not reach a culmination. Like culmination can be good and bad, right? The partnership can grow, the partnership can break. Both can happen. But this will be a lesson that Saturn is willing to give in this transit of Uttar Bhadrapada. And believe me, this transit, you have to take it a little bit. Now, one thing, Cancer people very emotionally, as their watery sign, this is happening in a watery sign, they get involved very emotionally into a thing. That is how their nature is. They cannot they cannot be like practical Capricorn, right? So think a little bit about in a spiritual way. You have to. That is where you will get the essence. The essence will come from there. If something is taken away from you, why? And if something is given for you to work in a slow and steady progress, it makes you wiser. Suppose you land up on a foreign project, which will, I mean, it will not be easy for you. You have to form a base, you have to work hard, you have to give a lot of time. Saturn wants you to be the wise man, and it's a spiritual nakshatra. Uttar Bhadrapada and Revati is highly spiritual. Here, you cannot even earn something without being helped to others or spiritualistically enlightened. You cannot over here just go for the 3D world. I want to show this. That's why I want this. Maybe it is simple as that you want a marriage, a partnership to fructify so that your business grows, your life grows. But it should have some spiritual meaning. It should not be just on the 3D level. This is little difficult to understand. I know it's getting a little bit more because I'm so attached with this two nakshatras, and the spirituality keeps me engrossed in this. My favorite, I'm telling you, Uttar Bhadrapada Revati is two very favorite nakshatra of mine, and they have taught me so much. And I have prominent planets there. I have suffered and I have gained consciousness after that, believe me. So I have prominent planets here. That's why you have to be, you have to take it. If you are above 30, try to understand. If you're below 30, it's a little early to understand these things. But if you're matured enough, if you have prominent planets in it, you'll understand that. Try to take it in a spiritual sense. Do not go and blame others. Take into spiritual learning. Saturn does not give bookish learning. It gives, more practical oriented learning. Even a travel can make you learn so many things. This is a great time to travel also, Uttar Bhadrapada, towards unknown destinations, foreign lands and all this. Nomadic. Great. And it's like the elixir of life. You suddenly get out of it. I mean, sudden epiphany. It's a great transit, believe me. Hope you can use it to that extent. Do not go for the materialistic. It will happen in the process, but do not only take the material significance. That is the key. Otherwise, you will be very upset with this transit. But it's an excellent nakshatra. Having a Magha moon, your moon is in Magha, then it is a Mitra nakshatra. If you have moon in Purva Falguni, it is a Badha nakshatra. It will create friction, and this transit will not be very great for you. And if you are in, your moon is in Uttara Falguni, then it is a Devankula. Like it is like your very nice, it will give you a good feeling. Now, for Leo people, this transit is in your 8th house, and this transit is here to change your life. Like I'm feeling that already. And so why to be afraid of that? If something comes which is different than the life that we are leading, and if spirituality dawns in, if such epiphany happens, why not? Uttar Bhadrapada, believe me, is one such nakshatra, and definitely followed by Revati. These are very, very, I love these two nakshatras. So you know what happens with this kind of transit when your 7th lord and 6th lord is in Uttar Bhadrapada? Your partner or partnership can little bit go for a toss. Why? Because the person can be traveling and can be busy. That can happen very much. You can sometimes feel emptied and you can feel the loneliness. Let it be. You will, after some time, let the feeling happen. Uttar Bhadrapada means also the nakshatra is not a very energetic nakshatra. It is like understanding and gulping the process that this nakshatra gives to your life, because then only you become wiser. It is the wisest of the nakshatras, wise old man. The bird's eye view. To achieve that, it's not easy. Now, whether you like it or not, I don't know whether you are, that depends upon personality of the person and the total horoscope. But this gives money also. That also I have seen. It is, it is a wealth giving nakshatra. And Saturn nakshatras are, they are, because Pushya, Anuradha, Uttarabhadrapada, Revat, these are money giving nakshatra. But the money does not come just like that. It is when you give up something or when you do some seva. You know, the sixth lord coming over here, you forgive an enemy, you forgone a loan, you give up on something, then the materialistic favor comes to you. This is a very tricky transit to use it to your benefit. First, you have to give up. Then you will get the benefit out of it. If you don't, if you fidget with not giving up, then definitely, you know, Saturn has its way. Slowly, 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 the thing will be taken away from you, whatever it is, whether it is a living thing or a non-living thing. So it's a very tricky transit. Obviously, you're running a dhaya, right, from the moon. So, but still, if you have a Magha nakshatra and a Uttar Falguni nakshatra, it will be a good transit for you. Depend on how you treat. Knowingly, Saturn, you treat it in that way, you'll get good results. Yes, for Purva Falguni, this is in the Badha Tara. Some obstacles you will face in this kind of a transit of Saturn. But this transit will make you a different person. This year, Saturn will be again, it will retrograde back from Revati. 10th of October onwards, it will again come back. So there is a long time Saturn will be in Uttar Bhadrapada. You have to get used to this energy of Saturn so that you feel the glory, you feel the freshness, the relief later. I mean, when you go through this process and come out of it. So I feel it's a good transit in that way, life changing, definitely. 8th house. Virgo moon. Now for the Virgo moon, Uttar Falguni, if you have the moon in Uttar Falguni, it's a Devankula nakshatra from Uttar Bhadrapada, it is good. If you have a moon in Hasta, then it's a Pratyaktara. It's not very good. Definitely, it's mixed. And if you have moon in Chitra, then it's a Shematara, that is also good. So here for the Virgo people, it is the 7th house transit of Saturn, and Saturn is very important, being the 5th lord and the 6th lord. Now 5th lord coming into the 7th house, many Virgo people, because Jupiter will also transit to 11th, first comes the idea of partnership, marriage and all these things. So here the relationship cannot be superficial, first and foremost. If the relationship is only on the 3D basis of give and take, usually I have seen Saturn negates that, because Saturn does not take things that are lighter. Saturn wants depth, right? This nakshatra has a lot of depth. Here, your 5th lord is coming. Your Purva Punya is coming into this nakshatra. Whatever you have now, see, this is the thing. This nakshatra is a very karmic nakshatra also. It brings things of the past. All the Saturn nakshatra does that. So here, you can really reap great results, especially for Uttar Falguni moon and for Chitra moon. Hasta, it's a little difficult. So those who have Hasta moon, be very careful while choosing things, while using your, you know, maybe in the business, maybe in partnership, maybe your desires, because 7th house is lot of desires. Saturn aspecting the Lagna, the 9th house, the 4th house, lot of desires, status upliftment. So it cannot be shallow. And here you will understand, if this transit goes well for you, then you must understand you have had some good Purva Punya, because the 5th lord has come into the 7th and Saturn is very strong Digbala over here in its own nakshatra for a very long time. It's a great transit, Virgo, actually. Little bit difficult for Hasta people, still the placement is good. Foreign settlements, going outside, getting married, having a good partnership, good deals, foreign lands. It's a great nakshatra. Your skills, your intelligence, great. This is really a very good transit. But now see, with Saturn, no, many people do not want to do the hard work. They do not have the patience, or other problems in the horoscope can also be there, or you're not running the dasha. You see, just telling something on the basis of your understanding is not the way to judge a planet. So, because when as an astrologer, I have, you know, I've gauged the planets, how they really work, even the smallest of transit. When Venus comes with moon, you feel nice, you feel rajasic. That's a simple thing. If you notice it, that you'll see. But when Venus comes to Capricorn, just an example, you don't feel love. It's a very practical thing. So these are small things that needs to be noticed. And that is why Saturn in the 7th is good Digpala, good for marriage giving, but it is not an easy transit because Saturn is not easy planet. But if I have to find out a place where Saturn behaves well and gives you upliftment, this is a placement. There is no doubt in that. And so Uttar Falguni people and Chitra moon, these two are really, they can get great results out of this transit. The pressure may be felt, the partner may not be very easy, but if you have a little bit spiritually idealistic life, then you will feel the essence of this transit. See, we all live in the 3D world, but little bit heightening our senses to the environment, because Uttar Bhadrapada is an eye for the others. It is a wise old man nakshatra, wisest of all the nakshatras, because that is the maturity of this nakshatra. It's not the intelligence, it is the wise. The wiseness comes from the experiences, what to let go, what to hold on, how much tight and how much loose you can leave the thing. So it's a great transit for me. Let's see how you give me later the feedback, what happens with the 3 Rashis in Virgo. Take care. Okay, Libra, here you have 3 nakshatra. Chitra, for Chitra people, it is Chitra moon. It is a Shkema Tara for you, the transit of the Saturn in Uttar Bhadrapada. So it is a good transit. Swati people, this is a Vipat Tara. Uttar Bhadrapada. So this is not a great transit for you. And Vishakha, it is a Sampat Tara. Again a great transit for you. Good transit. So Chitra and Vishakha people will benefit more from this transit of Saturn in Uttar Bhadrapada. Swati people should take care of health, mental well-being, loans and all these things, because already Libra people are facing problem with the 4th and 5th lord over there. If on top you from the moon, Saturn is transiting 6th, on top of that if you have a Swati moon, then definitely your health can be problematic if you do not take proper rest or regime. Maybe you have to work very hard, that you can feel mentally not very good. But in spite of that, if you are a Chitra moon or a Vishakha moon, you will get results out of this nakshatra than when Saturn was in Purva Bhadrapada, the just before nakshatra. This is a nakshatra where you have to wisely you have to work. Just do not go for hard work. A little wiser approach, a little humanitarian approach, a little eye for details of the people, what people want around you. All these things are very important, because the 4th lord, suppose you take a loan, you suddenly do not jump into a loan. You may want to increase, because the 6th Saturn makes you work hard. You from the moon, you want to do something for yourself to uplift yourself, taking a loan, going for a car or a house or something. That is also good, but understand, when you're taking a loan also, it has to be justified and you cannot be careless about it when Saturn is in the 6th from the moon. If Rahu and Jupiter, suddenly people take big loans, later they have problems. Saturn will restrict you in some ways over here. That is good for your expenses also. So it will be, this transit is a little difficult definitely, because 6th Saturn, though it is always written everywhere, Upachya house Saturn 3, 6, 10, 11 gives good result. Now see, it does not happen that way, right? Saturn is not a planet anywhere you place in the horoscope. Where do you feel it gives a very great result? I haven't seen that. It always creates obstacles, impediments, sufferings, delays. It gives irritation. Even I also feel, but yes, I know that this is the reason it is happening. So I mitigate my way. So that's why this transit, you have to use your intelligence And I mean, the mother's health has to be also, it can go for a deep healing or something like that. The mother's health, it should be taken care of. Use your intelligence, have an eye. You can do some seva also. If you really can do something for others, please do, because this is Pisces, Saturn, Uttar Bhadrapada. Usually if you have prominent planets, I need not say that, you will have an eye for helping others. So it's a mixed result thing, but it is better than the previous nakshatra results of Saturn in Uttar Bhadrapada and Revati. Only Swati nakshatra people, be careful with your health. Do not fidget too much with competition, because Saturn involves you more into work and puts you into competition. Slowly it does that. Understand that the results will not be very swift. This is not a very swift nakshatra. It is sometimes even a lazy nakshatra. It waits for the things to mature and then gives the result. So these are the characteristics of Uttar Bhadrapada, what you can expect out of this transit of Uttar Bhadrapada. Long time Saturn will be here, and Saturn is very important for the Libra people. So if you have taken a loan, or you want to give a loan, if you have an enemy, what you are dealing with the 6th house, Rogrin Shatru, you have to deal it in a matured way. That is the first and foremost. You cannot jump into fights. That is another thing. Saturn will then treat you in a, it teaches you to be wise over here in this nakshatra. Have a good transit. For those who are having Scorpio moon, the Scorpio is having, if you are having Vishaka moon, then this is a Sampat nakshatra transit. It's a good transit of Saturn. If you have Anuradha nakshatra, Anuradha moon, then it's a Janma nakshatra. It is a okayish transit. And if you have Jeshta moon, then it's a Paramitra transit. So more or less, this is a 5th house transit of Saturn. 5th and 9th house transit of Saturn are always pushing you to develop yourself. As the next two transits are the 6th house and the 10th house. Both are Upachya houses, and there you will have no time to invent yourself actually. You are into work. So 5th house transit of Saturn, if you have a Vishakha nakshatra, it will give you good result. If you have Anuradha nakshatra, because it is called the Janma nakshatra from Uttar Bhadrapada, it is mixed, I cannot say very good. And also if you have a Jeshta nakshatra result Paramitra, it's good. Now see, because Saturn is your 3rd lord and it is your 4th lord, in the 5th house you will be thinking about how to make investments, and the long term you fetch the result and maybe use it for real estate. As simple as that. Or you think of patterns that develop in your love life, and how you can change those patterns, and how Saturn's intensity can be utilized in a slow and progressive way. Okay, you can think about your progeny, how you can how you can develop his or her personality, if it's a younger one or if it's an elder one, how you can, help in what way. Because here Saturn tells you to be the wise old man approach, and here you cannot rush things. Uttar Bhadrapada is not an energetic nakshatra. The last two nakshatras are very slowly progressive. Like a old man, there is where you are hurrying. Everybody has something to achieve in the body with which we have come. But before time, space, you cannot get anything, right? It's not possible. The time must come. So why to hurry? That is the wise old man approach. Everything, to a fruit to get ripen, a raw papaya to become the ripe one, to taste that color to come, it will take its time. You cannot make it happen before. So that is the approach in the 5th house. It's a very sensitive transit to your intellect. Sometimes you can feel dull also, your intellect, because Saturn is a heavy planet. In Uttar Bhadrapada, it's a watery sign. For Scorpio people, it is a 5th house. You can sometimes feel a little heavy with your intellect, or you're not able to do the things as fast as you could have done. So these things also happens with Uttar Bhadrapada, but use this wise approach, learn something from it. And if you want to go for any kind of studying certificate course or anything, though Saturn is not the planet exactly, but Jupiter will be aspecting this Saturn from June onwards. So your whatever as of now you're feeling, this will change when Jupiter comes into Cancer, and you will now have the wise old man approach. Now this Purva Bhadrapada is a dance of the it's a very difficult nakshatra, very difficult. Uttar Bhadrapada is not like that. The difficulty is given also in a sublime way, and you deal with it in a very matured way. That is what expected from you. Your Purusharth, your third lord has come over here, but Saturn is not a fisty planet like Mars, right? It wants you to put the effort, but in a slow and systematic. Suppose you have planned something for your child or something, you have to put it in a very slow and this manner. You want to put into investment, you have to think. Uttar Bhadrapada is a good monetary nakshatra also. So where you are putting the money, how you are doing things, because these things will happen for the Scorpio people, definitely. And that is why this will be an uplifting transit at the end of the when this Uttar Bhadrapada Saturn moves to Revati. Not just this year, I'm talking about 2027 also. So it will give you those kind of results, definitely, to make you wiser for your investments, for your love matters, for your progeny, for your intellect, what to study, what skill development you can do, all these things. It is a good transit, but now Saturn's goodness, to understand that also a basic level of spirituality and maturity is required. That's the problem. It is not a transit like suddenly it will come and bestow you with good results. It is not like that, unfortunately. That is not how the planet behaves. So this was my analysis of your transit in Uttar Bhadrapada from your moon nakshatra. Sagittarius, if you have moon in Mula nakshatra, then this transit is the Maitra Tara, and it is good transit. If you have moon in Purva Bhadrapada, it is a Badha nakshatra. Transit is not good of Saturn in Uttar Bhadrapada. And if you have moon in Uttar Ashada, then it is a Devankula transit star. So that is also good. So if you are a Sagittarius moon, Mula and Uttar Ashada will have better and good transit than Purva Ashada. Now see, already because you're Sagittarius moon, you are going through Dhaya, 4th house. It cannot be an easy transit. It is your money lord and your third lord, right? Coming into this Uttar Bhadrapada. Here you cannot be fisty too much about things, whether real estate, whether mother's health, whether your homely affairs, whether going from one country to another, whether reaping some results from your foreign lands or whatever. It will go slowly and things will take time and maturity, and it will then culminate, come to a point. This is the wisest of all the nakshatras. Wise means not intelligence, why? With the experiences of life. So this is a good transit, especially for Mula and Uttar Ashada. You can get good results after a little bit of juggling with lot of things, and wait and watch attitude is very much required over here. This is not an energetic nakshatra. You cannot Revati, this Pisces is not an action oriented sign. It is your intuition, and then the intuition dawns you. You take the steps only when you feel, yes, this is the right time. So that's why it is called the wise old nakshatra. And because especially Purva Ashada people, if you have moon over there, you can have some issues at your home place. Even in foreign lands also you can have some problem. Your mother's health can also see a problematic patch. You can feel impediments, unnecessary impediments hanging on to you, and maybe chaining up your leg. You are unable to move forward. Maybe you are trying to do your best, but your homeland people are only not satisfied with you. These kind of things happen in Dhaya. Or you are left all alone, and somewhere people are not getting your point, and you have to do your thing, your point you have to prove it in your way by doing everything on your own. So these things can happen with Dhaya. It's definitely not an easy transit, but if you have a moon in Mula or in Uttarashada, after going through all these problems also, you will have monetarily, you will be blessed, because Uttarashada gives, it's a money giving nakshatra also, and because it is like a depth of ocean, right? The sudden inheritance, sudden money, real estate gain, going for a decision, all these things are there. But the transit on total, because it is Dhaya, it is not very soothing. None of the Saturn transits are, though they hype a lot about Sarasati and Dhaya, but rest of all the transits are too good, I cannot say that. But yes, the impediments may be a little more for Sagittarius moon and Leo moon or Aries moon. So, okay, just take care of that. This was from your nakshatra, moon nakshatra. Especially if you are Purva Ashada, you have to take a bit more care about the things that I have said. Do not put too much pressure on things. Do not rush. Take care of your health, your mother's health. People may at all go against you. They may negate your ideas. You can feel lonely. You can feel the people that I'm doing for are not really understanding. So much is done but not appreciated. These things can happen. So take care, Sagittarius moon. Capricorn moon. If you have a moon in Uttarashada, then it's a Devankula nakshatra from uttarabhadra, and it's a good transit. If you have Shravan nakshatra, this transit is pratyaktara, which is not very good. If you have Dhanishta nakshatra, it's a Shkematara, and it is a good. So now Capricorn people, from the Rashi, Saturn, if you have a Capricorn moon, most importantly for Shravan nakshatra people, this is not a very great transit. It will give you mixed result, not good. Other two nakshatras, Uttarashada and Dhanishta, this transit is good. Now see, you because it is third from the moon, it's a new, it is your Lagna Lord, and it wants to give you wisdom through maybe journeys, wisdom through new efforts, newness, again starting new. And for Capricorn Rashi people who were feeling a lot of problem with Purva Ashada, I think this because this nakshatra is quite a giving. I mean, if you understanding this nakshatra and behaving, do not jump into things. It's a slow nakshatra. You have to wait, and then let the thing come, then you take whatever opportunity or anything, because third house Saturn's transit from the moon is said good everywhere. So but do not jump, because Saturn is not that kind of a planet. Saturn is a slow planet, and slow is this nakshatra is also not a very energetic nakshatra. It can sometimes even wait for its chance to arrive. Wait is Saturn, right? It is the time. That is why people feel frustrated with Saturn, because you have to wait sometimes. That is also there. The wait makes the human perplexed with that. But this transit will give you a newness, new beginnings through a wise way, because this is a wise nakshatra. And because Saturn is your moon sign lord and second from the moon, so monetarily you may have to go to a different city, bodily you have to shift, and all these things can happen. You have to take care of yourself. You become wiser through the process. But still, whatever initiation, whatever things happen, Shravan nakshatra people, be a little careful. Your hindrances will be more than the other two nakshatras. But still, this transit is a good transit, and you will gain definitely some kind of wisdom and material wealth from this kind of a transit. So, good transit for Capricorn. For the Kumbh Rashi Aquarius moon, if you have a Dhanishta, if you have moon in Dhanishta, this is Shkema Tara. For you, the transit of Saturn in uttarabhadra, it's a good transit. If you have Shatabhishak moon, this is a Vipat Tara, and the transit will not be good. If you have Purva Bhadrapada moon, then it is a Sampat Tara for you, and the transit will be good. Now see, you are running the last 1 year, you can say roughly, of Sarasati, and it is the weakening of Sarasati that is happening. For Dhanishta and for Purva Bhadrapada, this transit will be good. For Shatabisha people, moon in Shatabisha, it's a Vipat Tara, you have to take care. What you have to take care of your health and finance. That is the main thing. From the moon, it is your second lord. So moon is your, obviously it is your mind, it is your well-being and all these things. And how you, I mean, there can be certain things that go away from you. There can be expenses also that you're doing, but be wise. Don't dance with the tune of Purva Bhadrapada. That dance becomes devilish. Uttar Bhadrapada is very matured nakshatra. It's a wise old man, and that is why Saturn's nakshatras are very karmic and very lesson giving. But the lesson over here is not it is not diabolic. It is, I mean, it is learnt with time, because wise things are not learnt in a haste. And here Saturn may mainly because it is second from the moon, it can make you monetarily solvent, or think where you are spending and why you are spending. So this is very important. Actually this is very important transit for you. And it gives lot of because it is your Lagna lord, you yourself becomes wiser in giving up things, whether you have to keep it or let it go. That is a very important chapter, the culmination of the karmic lessons over here. That will happen once Saturn transits into Uttar Bhadrapada, and Revati will be very prominent. Certain things will come to an end. It is your Lagna, I mean, it is your moon sign lord, right? So certain things in your mental capacity, maybe in your physical capacity, living, non-living, you have to give up. Because only by giving up you will be able to do this journey and then spring into new beginnings, which is a possibility. You cannot hold on to the past karmic failures or even to the victories, because holding on to both will not lead you anywhere. It is a great transit actually. For me, if you ask, it will release many things. Yes, it can make you, it is your moon sign lord, it can make you overwhelmed, it can give you lesson which can be a little bit bitter to swallow, but that is how Saturn is, right? So Saturn, if it gives even, you know, if monetary Lee also, it wants to make you benefit, first Saturn will put a dent. That is how this planet is. It gives life practical lessons, and then you realize, okay, that was a mistake I did. So but it is a good transit. You learn lot of things from this transit: how to handle your finances, how to handle yourself, how to keep your mental well-being, to become wiser, to let go things. All these things will be learned. And monetarily, this nakshatra is a monetary nakshatra also. It gives. Revati and Uttar Bhadrapada is good. Many people have great planets over here and they have done great actually. And a long-term view it gives. That's why it's a wise old man. It's given the name. So for Aquarius moon, only Shatabishak moon should take care. Because it can give certain more impediments, more failures, financial issues, losses, these things. From the moon, it is not it is a Vipattara. Otherwise, this transit will be a life-changing transit for you Aquarius, especially because you are a Saturnic moon. Yeah. For Pisces moon, obviously you are running full Sarasati, and Purva Bhadrapada, if you have moon in, it is a Sampat Nakshatra, and your transit will be okay of Saturn over here. If you have Uttar Bhadrapada moon, then it is Janma Nakshatra, and it's a mixed transit, neither good neither bad. If you have Revati, this is a Param Mitra transit, and here the transit will be good. Now Pisces ascendant, it is right your moon sign where Saturn has come and stopped now, literally, because Saturn moves slow, though this time it will little bit speed up. But the pressure cooker element remains, the pressure on you remains, no doubt about that. But still, if you're a Uttar Bhadrapada, then it is totally moon in Uttar Bhadrapada, then Saturn is totally on your moon, and the result will not be great definitely. Other two, Revati and Purva Bhadrapada, okayish. Now see, here it is lot of endings will be there, at least 1 2 endings in this year and culminating in this year or next year. By next year this will happen. Yes, Jupiter will be in good position. I feel you'll get the essence of this transit. Let go of the things, learn the lessons. Monetarily it can be giving, but money also, where to spend, how to do with the things, all these things will be Saturn will make you learn, because this is a very lesson oriented transit, making you a wiser man, not in a very that kind of a harsh way like Purva Bhadrapada, because this nakshatra is not that harsh. It is a slow nakshatra, not very energetic. You have to wait for opportunities. You have to slowly do the process and release the karma that is associated with this nakshatra, and if you have specially moon in Uttar Bhadrapada. So what can I say, Pisces? See, this is not an easy time for you definitely. But Saraswati does not mean that everything will be bad, right? There are many people who become prime minister in Saraswati. But it is definitely meaning if you go for a better thing also, it will create pressure on you. It will make you take responsibility, and you not only can live for yourself, you should have an eye for others also. Usually Uttar Bhadrapada and Revati moon will have that. Purva Bhadrapada not to that extent, but these two are very humanitarian, Uttar Bhadrapada and Revati. So if you feel that you are not in a great state, you are not feeling good, I think helping others, going for the society, if you can do something like that, it will help you out actually in the process. So yeah, this is how this thing you have to, there will be some bygones, there will be some things that you have to let go. Don't hold on to it. Pisces is letting go, you have to let go. It will be changing for you. Once Jupiter aspects your lagna, it will be easier for you from June onwards, but still you will be coming out wiser, and you'll not hopefully repeat the mistakes that has been done. That is how Saturn teaches. That's why it's a bit harsh. So yeah, this was the take on the transit of Saturn in Uttar Bhadrapada. So let's see what is the next video I can make on, and what is important in the near future. Till then, take care. Bye bye. Good night.